Here are the top stories for today, August 27, 2020. President Duterte accepts the resignation of PhilHealth CEO Ricardo Morales on grounds of health concerns. The remains of more Filipino workers who died in Saudi Arabia are expected to arrive home on August 28. Internet speeds in the Philippines have become faster since 2016, according to a US-based network testing firm. And the DOH says it has yet to find proof that reinfection with COVID-19 is possible. Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. President Rodrigo Duterte has already accepted the resignation of Philippine Health Insurance Corporation President and CEO Ricardo Morales. Morales resigned from his post amid allegations of corruption in their agency. The retired military general is reportedly undergoing treatment for lymphoma and is currently on medical leave. Health Secretary Francisco Duque III says President Duterte is already looking for a new head of the state insurer. He said the president is already looking for someone to replace Morales within the week. PhilHealth Executive Vice President and CEO Arnel de Jesus has been appointed as the officer in charge. The Justice Department welcomes the decision of PhilHealth Senior Vice President Rodolfo Del Rosario Jr. to resign amid the anomalies in the state health insurance firm. Justice Secretary Menardo Guevarra said his resignation would probably make the investigation being conducted by Task Force PhilHealth a little easier. However, he said his authority does not include recommending specific replacements for resigned or dismissed officials. Guevarra said the task force has recommended to President Duterte the possible reorganization of PhilHealth and the creation of an interim management committee. He also recommended the Governance Commission for GOCCs or GCG to study the proposal. Guevarra stressed that part of the problem in PhilHealth was the lack of a centralized IT system to keep track of its accounts and transactions. A top-to-bottom reorganization of PhilHealth is being recommended by Senate Minority Floor Leader Franklin Drilon. The call was made by Drilon following the resignation of PhilHealth President and Chief Executive Officer Ricardo Morales. He said the long history of corruption within the corporation across all levels may be addressed by passing a law that would authorize the president to reorganize PhilHealth accompanied by a well-studied reorganization plan. Drilon urges the Government Commission for GOCCs or GCG to observe fit and proper rule in appointing officials, saying only the most competent and honest people are to be appointed to PhilHealth. He also urged PhilHealth to upgrade its system in order to eliminate corruption. Media workers are expected to receive hazard pay, bulletproof vests, and personal protective equipment under the Media Workers Welfare Bill. House Bill 2476 will be presented for final approval by the House Committee on Labor and Employment within a few days. Authored by ACT-CIS party list Representative Rowena Nina Taduran, the proposed law will provide enhanced protection, security, and benefits for media workers. Taduran, who is a former broadcast journalist, underscored the mandate of the state to protect laborers and promote their welfare. She said media workers, despite being part of the labor force, are, more often than not, left to fend for themselves, especially when making danger-filled coverages. Assistant Secretary Joel C. Egco, Executive Director of the Presidential Task Force on Media Security or PT-FOMS, lauds the swift action taken by the Subcommittee on Labor Standards. Bike lanes are now open near hospitals, and hands-free disinfectant dispenser using bamboo and abaca is being developed. More on these from Janice Cabe.
More workers, particularly medical frontliners who are using bike lanes for work, will now enjoy the convenience of having their own bike lanes along major hospital districts across Manila and Quezon City. The interim bike lane networks in Manila cover Taft Avenue, Quirino Avenue, Ross Boulevard, and United Nations Avenue Loop. This route serves medical facilities, particularly the Philippine General Hospital, Manila Doctors Hospital, Manila Medical Center, and Hospital ng Maynila. In Quezon City, the bike lane network runs along V. Luna to East Avenue, Elliptical Road to G. Araneta Avenue via Quezon Avenue and Commonwealth Avenue back to the Elliptical Road. It would service several medical facilities, including the Philippine Children's Hospital, Lung Center, Heart Center, Veterans Memorial Medical Center, and the East Avenue Medical Center. Meanwhile, a hands-free disinfectant dispenser connected to a foot bath using bamboo and abaca is being developed by the Forest Products Research and Development Institute of PRRD. The project promotes the use of more sustainable and environment-friendly raw materials like bamboo and abaca while limiting possible sources of virus contacts by hand and foot. In other news, assorted vegetable seeds, seedlings, and other planting materials are being distributed in San Juan City, Manila to ensure food security and supply amid the pandemic. Mayor Francis Zamora said the local government is pushing urban agriculture program in the city to encourage residents to practice urban gardening. The program also aims to provide alternative food sources for the residents while the city is confronting the impacts of the health crisis. Residents who are interested to avail of the urban gardening program may contact the Senro hotline via telephone number 7729-0114 during office hours or may call and text 0961-0788-935 or 0917-387-0508. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Still to come, the remains of more Filipino workers who died in Saudi Arabia are expected to arrive home on August 28. Internet speeds in the Philippines have become faster since 2016, according to a US-based network testing firm. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Sa matinding laban natin sa Coronavirus Disease 2019, sugpuin din natin ang pagkalat ng fake news. Huwag magbahagi ng impormasyon na hindi tiyak ang pinagmulan. I-check mabuti ang source ng balita. Kumuha lamang ng impormasyon mula sa mga official channel ng Department of Health. Huwag magpadala sa maling balita, basta't sama-sama at laging handa. Kaya natin to. Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito. Alamin kung paano ang tamang pagsusuot ng surgical mask. Una, hawakan ang mask sa strap at siguruhing natatakpan nito ang inyong bibig at ilong. Tandaan, ang may kulay na bahagi ng mask ang dapat nasa labas. Ito lamang ang tamang paraan ng pagsuot nito. Ihulma ang nose piece o maliit na metallic strip ayon sa hugis ng inyong ilong. Iwasan ang paghawak sa inyong ilong at bibig. Kung marumi na ang mask, hubarin ito gamit ang strap at itapon ito sa isang basurahan. Siguruhin ang maayos na paghuhugas ng kamay gamit ang sabon at tubig. Ang surgical mask ay dapat gamitin ng mga pasyenteng may sakit sa baga o mga taong mayroong ubo, sipon at lagnat, mga nag-aalaga sa mga may sakit, at mga healthcare at frontline workers. Maaari ring magsuot nito kung kayo ay pupunta sa matataong lugar. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa. Kaya natin to. Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
The fourth batch of the remains of overseas Filipino workers who died in Saudi Arabia is set to be flown back home on Friday. The Department of Labor and Employment said a chartered flight of the Philippine Airlines will arrive at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport at around 9:40 a.m. tomorrow, carrying 72 bodies of OFWs. Out of this number, 62 succumbed to COVID-19, while 10 died of other causes. Former rebels in Agusan del Norte received free training from TESDA. And an online store features locally made products to help the local manufacturers. Here is our report.
An online store in Agusan del Norte features locally made products to help local processors and business sector. The Tabuan sa Agusan online store accommodates a total of 60 processed products from 23 local processors from the province. Among the products sold in the online market are processed foods and drinks from mango and other local agricultural products. The online store will run until tomorrow. Still in Agusan del Norte, 25 former NPA rebels start their 20-day skills training. This includes electrical installation and maintenance, organic vegetable and concoctions production, and computer literacy training. The training offered by TESDA seeks to alleviate unemployment and help the government fulfill its peace and order initiatives. In Ilocos Norte, more health workers are needed as it expands its hospital services. The state-run Mariano Marcos Memorial Hospital and Medical Center is in need of medical technicians, administrative aides, nurses, and doctors. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Marita Muaje.
Internet speed in the Philippines have more than doubled since 2016, according to US-based network testing company Ookla. Ookla's Speed Test Global Index report for July 2020 showed a 216% improvement in the country's average download speed for fixed broadband and a 127% increase for mobile broadband compared to results 4 years ago. Average download speed for fixed broadband went up from 7.91 Mbps in July 2016 to 25.07 Mbps in July 2020. Average download speed for mobile broadband also improved from 7.44 Mbps to 16.95 Mbps in the same period. Ookla expects the country's connectivity and internet service to further improve based on the government's promise to extend full cooperation in expediting permits for the construction of cellular towers. On July 23, several government agencies signed a joint memorandum circular removing red tape in the construction of common towers. As more Filipinos return to their hometowns amid the COVID-19 pandemic, the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, or OWA, urges returning OFWs to the Caraga region to fly via Butuan to make their trips home easier. Jennifer Peña Gaetano has the story.
While they continue to assist a number of returning overseas Filipinos for their return to their respective hometowns in Caraga region, the personnel of OWA Caraga, however, have experienced difficulty in fetching the OFWs who took the flight to airports in other cities instead of Butuan City Airport. ROFs who are mostly from Manila and Cebu usually took the air route via Davao City and travel hours to Caraga region. OWA Caraga officials revealed that they go through a lot of processes as they pass various municipalities and needed close coordination with the local government units of Davao region before they could fetch the Caraganon ROFs. OWA Caraga Regional Director Irene Cambaling said mobilization of Caraga LGUs is much easier and convenient when the ROFs will be fetched all in one same place at the Bangkasi Airport, where the relief goods and temporary shelter are also made available for them.
Yung pauwi ng Caraga, take the Butuan City Bangkasi Airport. Kasi dito po tayo, dito yung ating bahay, dito po natin ma-assist kaagad kayo. You know, may bagong patakaran kasi ang Davao City. Wala na din silang temporary shelter at kailangan sunduin kaagad, which we cannot do kasi malayo.
Once they travel via Butuan City flight, it would be much accessible, convenient, and safer for the ROFs for their homecoming in Caraga region.
Meron tayong temporary shelter, masundo kaagad sila, madali silang matulungan natin. Yung mga ibang gustong makauwi, sige lang. Kung ano po yung patakaran, yung pamamaraan, proseso ng ating gobyerno, sundin lang po natin yun. Sa kabubuti naman po natin lahat yun.
For the PNA Newsroom, I am Jennifer Peña Gaetano of the Philippine Information Agency, Caraga.
As classes continue under the so-called new normal, public schools in Iligan City will soon connect to the internet for free and pursue online distance learning. More on this from Cristina Linviante.
As a way to support educators in shifting to the digital blended learning modality, a private power company provided free internet connectivity to 15 public schools here in Iligan City. Dubbed as Internet Connectivity Programang Paglaon sa Edukasyon Kahayag sa Kaugmaon, the project aims to supplement distance learning delivery to 12 public elementary schools and 3 public high schools as part of the company's corporate social responsibility.
In the current situation where everything is not anymore normal, we figured we have to serve ILIGAN in ways other than providing electricity. A better approach is to provide them this facility and then enable them, empower them to become more effective in terms of conducting their distance learning activity.
Casino also added that they are planning to install the internet connection to more schools so that more educators and learners could avail of this provision. Meanwhile, DepEd Iligan City Division assures that it will enhance its teaching strategies by adapting to the new normal as caused by the COVID-19 pandemic.
We are now learning together how to use this what we call internet connection, how to use this digital technology and other digital resources. So with that, we can now, if not the best global competitors, in terms of digital technology, but at least we are now exposed. Not only the teachers, but of course the learners, without any discrimination.
With open arms, educators here are now more confident in accepting the challenge that comes with online distance learning this coming school year starting October, as announced by President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. For PNA Newsroom, Christine Lynn Viajante of PIA Iligan City Information Center.
In our business news, mobile network provider Smart Communications is building 200 macro cell sites after signing agreements with 6 common tower companies. In a statement, Smart said it will be able to speed up its mobile network rollout by tapping common tower companies. Aside from improving its network, it said the agreements were made in support of the Department of Information and Communications Technology's Common Tower Program and the joint memorandum circular signed in late July that streamlined the construction of common towers. Currently, its mobile broadband service is available in 93% of the country's municipalities and serves 95% of the country's population. The PLDT Group, Smart's parent company, has invested 260 billion pesos from 2015 to 2019 to expand Smart's mobile network and bring new technologies such as 4G and 5G. Up next, the DOH says it has yet to find proof that reinfection with COVID-19 is possible. And a high school student from Iloilo takes up fashion designing while under community quarantine. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
Tandaan ang tamang paraan ng paghuhugas at paglilinis ng kamay upang makaiwas sa iba't ibang karamdaman. Basain ng tubig ang mga kamay at sabunin. Unang sabunin ang mga palad at ang likod ng mga kamay. Kuskusin na maigi ang pagitan ng mga daliri at maging ang mga kuko. Isunod ang pagitan ng mga hinlalaki at kuskusin ng paikot ang mga dulo ng mga daliri sa magkabilang palad. Banlawang mabuti ang mga kamay sa malinis na tubig at patuyuin ang mga kamay gamit ang single-use towel o air dryer. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito. Alamin ang tamang paraan ng pag-ubo upang mapigilan ang paglaganap ng Coronavirus Disease 2019. Ugaliing magdala ng panyo o tissue. Kung uubo o babahing, takpan ang buong ilong at bibig gamit ang panyo o tissue. Kung walang dalang panyo o tissue, maaaring gamitin ang braso na pantakip. Kung nakararamdam na kailangan umubo o bumahing, agad na dumistansya sa mga tao sa paligid. Huwag dumura kung saan-saan, gumamit ng tissue at itapon sa basurahan. Ugaliin ang paghuhugas ng kamay at paggamit ng alcohol o hand sanitizer upang mamatay ang mikrobyo. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
The possibility of patients who have recovered from COVID-19 getting reinfected has yet to be proven. DOH Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergere said proving reinfection would require a lot of evidence. Several reports in other countries tell of coronavirus striking the same person twice. Some people in South Korea, China, and Japan are reported to have tested positive twice. Researchers from Hong Kong also reported that a 33-year-old man was infected with 2 distinct SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, more than 4 months after his first bout with the disease. In the Philippines, Vergere said health experts are set to study cases of presumed reinfection. When it comes to contracting COVID-19, she said, health experts claim there is no immunity passport, meaning the possibility or probability to have it again is always there. Health workers in Eastern Visayas will no longer be deployed to hospitals in Metro Manila due to the steady surge of COVID-19 cases in the region for the past days. DOH Region 8 Director Minerva Molon said this is because some hospitals in the region are now experiencing shortage of manpower as more health workers got infected with the virus. Based on its monitoring report, a total of 270 health workers have been infected in the region with 126 recoveries. Of the infected health workers, 133 are from Samar Province, mostly employees of Samar Provincial Hospital in Catbalogan City, where there is confirmed community transmission of the virus. Instead of sending health workers to Metro Manila, Molon said they will be sent to SPH. The initiative was in response to the call of Health Secretary Francisco Duque to augment health workers to Luzon, particularly in NCR and Regions 3 and 4. In Tacloban City, health officials are looking into cases of sickly patients contracting COVID-19 inside dialysis centers. The Department of Health says at least 10 dialysis patients reportedly caught the deadly virus in treatment centers, while 12 healthcare workers were assigned in dialysis centers also acquired COVID-19 in their workplaces. Of the 16 confirmed COVID-19 deaths in Eastern Visayas, 5 of them were undergoing dialysis for suffering chronic kidney diseases. Mark Stephen Kapungkul, head of DOH Region 8 Epidemiology and Surveillance Unit, noted that dialysis patients are very vulnerable to disease due to their weakened kidneys. The city government has checked the compliance of 10 dialysis centers on their infection prevention and control guidelines. More Filipinos are now seeking mental health support due to concerns stemming from the pandemic. Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergere said the hotline of the National Center for Mental Health received a high volume of calls from April to July when the country was placed under community quarantine. For August 2020, the top reason for calling was anxiety-related concerns. As for suicide-related calls, she noted that the average monthly number of calls is 53, peaking in July with 115 calls. Back in May, the World Health Organization warned of a massive increase in mental health conditions such as depression and anxiety in the coming months. It noted that social distancing and enforced isolation, as well as massive job losses and uncertain future, are taking a psychological toll on people. People needing mental health support and assistance are urged to call the NCMH crisis hotlines or the 24/7 DOH COVID-19 hotline. And in sports, the Commission on Higher Education has joined calls for collegiate teams to keep student-athletes safe health-wise amid the COVID-19 pandemic. CHED Chairman Prospero de Vera made the statement after the revelation of alleged bubbles involving the University of Santo Tomas men's basketball team's training bubble. Also reported with the National University's women's volleyball team, which underwent a training bubble inside its Manila and Calamba campuses. Philippine Sports Commission National Training Director Mark Velasco said he is glad CHED reiterated its call for the college student safety amid the pandemic, especially the student athletes. Meanwhile, the University Athletic Association of the Philippines said the UST is set to finish its probe regarding its basketball squad's alleged bubble, which took place in Coach Alvin Ayos' hometown of Capoy, Sorsogon. The league is also waiting for a word from NU regarding its volleyball bubble. A high school student in Iloilo is making his time in quarantine productive by creating fashion art and earning through his talent for sketching. Edian James Calapardo, Florida, an incoming grade 12 senior high school student at the Haniway National Comprehensive High School, started delving in fashion art in grade 10. Florida first made fashion design sketches and then decorated the designs using materials such as grass, flowers, vegetables, weeds, and other items. This quarantine period, he was able to come up with more than 50 sketches. Florida said his creations were inspired by what he saw on Pinterest, particularly Edgar Ortiz creations. Apart from the fashion art, he also came up with what he calls minimalist sketch vector art, which he sold to help his family cope with the COVID-19 pandemic. The young designer, who is turning 18 this end of August, hopes to enter the fashion industry someday. Here's another look at today's biggest stories. President Duterte accepts the resignation of PhilHealth CEO Ricardo Morales on grounds of health concerns. The remains of more Filipino workers who died in Saudi Arabia are expected to arrive home on August 28. Internet speeds in the Philippines have become faster since 2016, according to a US-based network testing firm. And the DOH says it has yet to find proof that reinfection with COVID-19 is possible. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check out more news content, check our webpage or head on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also, watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, I am William Theo. Good day. Stay safe, everyone.